Good afternoon, everyone. With us here today is West Virginia Delegate Steve Westfall, Vice Chair of the NCOIL Health Insurance and Long-Term Care Issues Committee and Chair of the West Virginia House Banking and Insurance Committee. Delegate Westfall, thank you so much for joining us for this month's NCOIL one-on-one interview.
Thanks for an invite, yes.
So I guess I want to start off by asking how you first got involved in public service.
I first ran in 2013, but prior to that, I've been a State Farm agent for several years. We had some issues with different regulations, and State Farm even thought about leaving West Virginia back in 2005 to 9 with different things. And I got involved with our local PAC. The West Virginia State Farm agents had one of the first state PACs for State Farm in the United States. And got some issues resolved. And my good friend of mine was my current delegate at the time, and he decided to run for Senate. They approached me and talked me into it, and I got the okay from State Farm, and I ran and won, and I won 5 elections now. So
that's awesome. Did you always work in the insurance industry?
Yeah, I've been a State Farm agent for 41 years.
Wow, great.
I've had 2 careers. I taught school for 3 years and had the opportunity to become a State Farm agent, and been here ever since. And then House of Delegates. I would say 3 jobs there.
Yeah. So now that you're in the legislature, what issues are you most involved in working with?
Well, I've been on every major committee. We have 6 major committees. Been every one except Gov Org, but with my education background, I was on education first, and then with the insurance background, I've always been on the banking insurance. Been started out as the vice chair, and now been chair for the last 4 or 5 years. So we get. Since insurance is my life, I've got model bills from NCOIL and just different things come up in West Virginia that we need to do with and protect our business, I think, and make sure we got a very strong and competitive insurance market in West Virginia. We didn't used to, but we do now. So mainly insurance issues, but also some education issues also.
So I know you sit on like 5 different committees as well as interim committees. Does that experience kind of influence or help you with your work when you work in the insurance committee?
Yeah, I've been on the Judiciary Committee now for 3 years. Any bills, I'll say 99% of the bills that we take up either originate or they start out in banking insurance, we'll go to Judiciary Committee. And it's been a plus. I am the insurance guy in the Judiciary Committee. So anything comes up, I've actually presented bills on the floor about it, banking insurance, mainly insurance, some banking bills, but mainly insurance and stuff. So it's a plus. Was on Finance Committee. Most of our bills, and I don't go to Finance, to go straight to Judiciary. So I plan on staying with Judiciary also as long as I'm in the House. So.
Nice. So I know that different states handle health insurance related issues differently in the matter that it sometimes has its own separate committee or subcommittee. How is that handled in West Virginia?
Well, we do have a separate committee. Health insurance is one of the major committees. It's a health committee. A lot of times under banking insurance, if it's insurance related to the health, we will start those bills in banking insurance, and then we will pass them and send them on to the health committee. Sometimes the health chair or vice chair will come to me and talk about different issues they've got going on, knowing that if it deals with health insurance, they got to originate in our committee, and keep me up on them, give me some ideas, and then ask me to run them. Because as a chair of whatever chair you chair of, if it's banking insurance, or if it's judiciary, the chair has the final say so what goes on the committee agenda. So if they got something they want, I usually work with them and stuff. I have been on health committee. I'm not currently on it. Currently, I'm on judiciary, energy, banking, insurance, and I'm enrolled bills and a couple other minor committees and stuff. But that's the main one. So we do it a little differently, maybe in some states, but it works here in West Virginia. I think it does.
So it sounds like you definitely have a full plate of insurance issues and other issues on your committee assignments. Do you think that has any impact on your family life in general?
No, not really, but I say some. I'm close enough to Charleston, where our state capital is. It's about a 35 to 40-minute drive. I usually will get a place, share a place with a couple other delegates or senators there, but I try to come back every night if possible. For family life, but also I got a pretty large agency. I've got two, and I'm looking for one more right now. I got three good staff. I will have another third very soon. Probably too much of a hands-on type. I want to know what's going on in my agency. We have morning meetings and stuff with my staff. So I'll get back here as much as possible. My people can see me early in the morning, late at night in my office and stuff, and then on weekends during a session. We are a part-time legislature. We have 60 straight days. We start normally the second Wednesday of January and run for 60 straight days, which is about the second Saturday of March. That's a very hectic time, just legislative-wise, but also I've got people, I'm their agent and I need to be here. So it's a balancing act. I've done it pretty well so far.
Right. So helping people, I guess, both on the industry side as an agent and also working with insurance legislation, do you think you have a lot of constituents reach out to you about, insurance topics, stuff like that?
Not many. We get, as a whole, we probably get more calls about roads than anything else. So we do, so if your road, it don't matter if your neighbor's road been paved this week or last month or last year, if your road's bad, but we get more calls about that. Not so much insurance. A lot of pretty much about any bill we come up with. I've used some NCOIL bills, model legislation, and then just different issues going on. I think it was 2015, I sponsored the bill to raise the minimum limits of liability in West Virginia. It was too low. It was basically a property damage. It was 2040-10. We raised it up to 25, 50, 25. Still might not be high enough, but we got to do it in steps, I believe. So, but anyway, most of the people come to me more about not banking and insurance issues, but different issues.
Nice. So how many years have you been involved in NCOIL, and how did you hear about it?
I've been involved since 2000 and about 7 years. So I think 2015, the first year I went, had a lobbyist friend that said, hey, they went to NCOIL a lot. They said, have you ever been to NCOIL? And I said, no. And they said, well, talk to the speaker. Our speaker at the time was Tim Armstead, and tell me you're interested in going. I think you would enjoy it. You would learn some things. The first one I went to was in San Antonio, Texas, I think. And I was a rookie. I mean, I learned some stuff and saw how things work. I kept going back, and last year I went to all three of them. I am now the vice chair of the health committee. I get a lot of ideas from the property and casualty committee, but it was through a lobbyist, and that lobbyist actually has retired, but we're trying to get more people from West Virginia to come to NCOIL. And in the fall meeting last year, we had a senator and our delegate come. So this year, I think we'll have a couple of senators and a couple more delegates come to NCOIL. Great.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're very involved in the organization. How would you describe your overall experience with NCOIL?
It's been great. Like I say, when I knew a little bit about it, and like I say, when I studied a little bit about it, and okay, I want to go. So I went. I just sat not in the back row, but I just sat at the first one and said, I see how they work. And they work pretty much like our committee meetings work. You have witnesses come up, and it takes a while. We do our bills on, we read them 3 days in a row on the floor. Well, they usually, the spring, sometime you see NCOIL introduce a bill, then the summer meeting, they'll talk about it, and hopefully by the fall meeting, they'll vote on it. So it's a lot of similar. I like it. I like the issues. I have got some ideas that legislation we have passed in West Virginia come from NCOIL. And we actually got a couple of bills that we passed before NCOIL. The NCOIL is now using a model legislation. So I've been pretty active with it and stuff. I hope to get more active with it.
That's great. So do you have any key takeaways you've had from meetings? And can you kind of walk through that would tie into encouraging legislators to start participating at NCOIL?
Well, to be more, I won't say proactive, be more involved and more knowledgeable. Some of the issues that I brought back to West Virginia from NCOIL, I would have not known about it if I hadn't went to NCOIL. And like I said, the senator went last year. He's going back to one coming up here in the summer, Jersey City. and also the chair of judiciary went with me last year to Arizona. He was, I won't say surprisingly, but he liked how the NCOIL and how the model legislation comes up, and he sees kind of where I get the ideas. So I'll go back to him. Usually I say, okay, he's been my chair of judiciary now for 3 years. And I say, well, I want to do this. And he said, where'd you hear that from? I said, well, it's NCOIL model legislation. I like to pass before NCOIL does. And I've done that a couple of times. I've taken a legislation and run with it and passed him before NCOIL's actually passed it. And I take it back. And so I think the more involved you are with NCOIL, the more you'll see some of the issues. You know, if it's happening in Ohio, it's happening in Nebraska, it's going to happen in West Virginia eventually. It might be that way around. Things might happen in West Virginia first. I take it to NCOIL, which I have, and some delegates out there can say, well, yeah, they back up to me and say, how'd you get that passed? I said, well, because some of them we've got passed pretty easily. We got a super majority right now, Republican in the House and the Senate, but still its insurance issues are not as clear cut as some things and stuff. So I work with both sides, and I've really benefited from NCOIL. I really think I have.
That's great. So what would you see as some of the benefits for like consumer and industry representatives to come to NCOIL?
Well, number one, our local ones, they know me here, but some of the national ones don't. And I think they kind of see, if I'm talking about the air ambulance bill, I passed the air ambulance bill, one of the first states to pass it. And I've had some national people reach out to me after that. And our peer-to-peer car share, I've had some people come to West Virginia when I met at NCOIL, and we passed it. And I think we got one of the strongest peer-to-peer car bills in the nation. I took NCOIL's model bill and I strengthened it and got it through the House and Senate. And so I think I still call them lobbyists, but the different companies come to NCOIL, they will see who's doing what. And I do chair the banking insurance. If they got any ideas or any suggestions, that's a good place to meet and talk about it and stuff. I'm always welcome to West Virginia. A lot of times they do come and stuff.
So you just mentioned a couple bills. Do you have any favorite like model laws or issues you've worked at throughout your time with NCOIL?
The peer-to-peer car share bill was one that I really worked, and how to explain it. I take them pretty personally sometimes. We did have no model legislation, and peer-to-peer car share was starting in West Virginia, and there was no guidelines whatsoever. Don't like to say I won, but I won. I mean, they tried to kill it in the Senate, and I believe that once I introduce a bill and it gets out of the House, that's only a third way done. I go to the Senate quite often to testify on different issues and stuff. I know all the chairmen and stuff. I'm sitting back there. They usually ask me if I got anything to say, and it works. It helps. They don't just go there and die. And then I always write a letter to the governor's office when I get a bill passed, both sides, the Senate and the House. The peer-to-peer was a good one. The air ambulance bill we're still working on. I wanted to see if it was constitutionally sound, and our Supreme Court did strike part of it down. We're back and reworking it, but it gives NCOIL a model to go off also. That's probably the two main ones. I'm working one right now. I looked it up. I can find it. I did write it. Okay, the fairness for responsible drivers. It's kind of like some states have passed no play, no pay. If they're driving uninsured, it limits what kind of coverage, what kind of benefits or claims they can receive if they are hit by insured motorists. That's what this one done. I think we're actually going to hopefully pass that this fall or summer, and I will take it. I introduced it this year. I just introduced it to see what the response would be from a few people. Didn't hear much back. I will try to get that passed next year. It just doesn't really penalize, but it encourages you to drive insured if you have an accident. If you're uninsured, you don't get the benefits of being insured. So you're breaking the law driving uninsured. So that one I'll work on this year, but that's about it though, really.
Sounds like there's a lot of bills getting passed out of the Insurance Committee, West Virginia. How many bills would you say like you work on in a typical session?
Our committee, it varies. This last year, we probably had 12 to 15 that either originated or started in banking insurance. Of those, probably 10 of them passed. both sides, the governor signed. There's been times like with that one there, I'll introduce a bill, just see, no intention of running it right now, but to see, okay, what kind of response I get. Who calls me in favor of it or who calls me against it? I like to know who's going to be against it right up front and stuff. We're doing that right now with, we got some problems with our workers' comp in West Virginia. We introduced a bill, we got it out of banking insurance to get a judiciary. It's dealing with deliberate intent of workers' comp. We're one of the few states that handles worker comp with deliberate intent like we do. It's not pro-business for sure. And it was pretty controversy. It passed 14-11 in my committee. It was bipartisan voting against it. And then we wanted to get that, we did. So we're taking up interim this summer, and we will again take it up again next year. Hopefully we'll get more parties involved with it. Even with it, like I say, even with the supermajority, some things are hard to pass if it's got a lot of controversy to it. And this does on both sides. So we see quite a few bills. We see more than any, we call them minor committees, the B&I committees. We probably see more bills in banking insurance in our minor committee.
So we see nationally Congress is very polarized. Do you guys have a bipartisan relationship with West Virginia? Is it trending to be more polarized? How does that work?
We do. I mean, I think most of our bills pass bipartisan. Now you'll have some that, like I said, the one about deliberate intent was pretty polarizing. It was probably one of the most controversial bills that we took up in session, well alone just banking insurance. Our committees last 2 hours, and that delayed floor session about almost an hour. And somebody came up to me and said they'd never seen a minor committee delay floor session an hour just to get the bill out. And I said, well, I had my orders to get it out, at least to get it out of that committee and stuff. And it took a while. So, but most of the things we pass are pretty bipartisan. Everything we do, hopefully, is to help West Virginia become a better state, better place to live, better place to raise your kids, a place people want to move to. And that takes bipartisan, but probably less than 10% of our bills is straight down the middle of partisanships and stuff. So, but we work together pretty well, I think so.
So naturally through our discussion, we've talked about, why we love NCOIL and why it's a great organization, but of course there's always room for improvement. What would you like to see change going forward in the future?
With NCOIL, well, I'd like to see more West Virginians there for one thing. On that, like I said, I think we'll have at least 3 at the summer meeting and stuff, and then New Orleans maybe 3 or 4. It is election year, and all depends who wins what primary and this and that. NCOIL does a pretty good job. They'll take about any issue you want to at least talk about. They'll get some pros and cons speakers. They'll talk about it when it's introduced. It's not really second reading, but it brings up to the next meeting. They'll see what kind of feedback they get, and pros and cons again, they're talking for it, against it and everything. They, in my opinion, have not passed anything that it's really like, why did this pass and stuff? They look at it, they amended a lot. The peer-to-peer bill, they amended that. I don't think personally, I voted for it in NCOIL, but I want to see a stronger peer-to-peer bill, and I made it stronger in West Virginia. But overall, they do a great job. It's hadn't changed a lot since I've been there, but it wasn't broke. So if it's not broke, I don't think you need to fix it really. So, yeah.
That's great. All right, so I guess we're going to move into our lightning round. These little lighter questions. Yeah. Do you have a favorite all-time movie?
Not a movie, but it's a series. It's called Justified. It was about the drug in Eastern Kentucky, which we border Kentucky and stuff. And there's a lot of truth to it and stuff. And it was like a 4-year series and stuff. I kind of weird, but I really like that and stuff. So yeah.
Nice. Favorite all-time book or musical artist?
Well, book would be probably, it's called Rocket Boys by I should know his name. He's a West Virginian. Homer Hickam. I thought it came to me. It's about growing up in southern West Virginia coal fields and how he become a well-known author. I got to meet him, got him sign my book and stuff. Another book I really like, I don't do a lot of reading, but it's called West by West. It's a story of Jerry West. And Jerry West, probably my hero growing up. He's he's an NBA legend. He was the All-American from West Virginia. And I grew up when I was young. 15 years younger, but I remember seeing him playing on television and watching. Every time I saw him play in person, got to meet him once, but that's probably my two favorite books. They're both about West Virginia people.
Awesome. Yeah, keep it all in West Virginia. Love to see it. Yep. And then last one, 3 dinner party guests, living or dead.
That's a little harder. Of course, he didn't set my table, but I was the dinner with Jerry West one time. It might be Jerry West. Really no other famous person. If I had to pick 2 people, probably 2 good friends of mine that passed away that I golfed with and did a lot of things with and passed away way too young, Roscoe Taylor and Rusty Bogus and Jerry West and myself could have a pretty good dinner. We're big sports fans, big West Virginians and stuff. So that'd probably be the 3 I'd want to have dinner with and stuff.
That's a great answer. Yeah. All right. So this wraps up this month's NCOIL one-on-one interview with West Virginia Delegate Steve Westfall. Thank you so much for joining us.